The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. Welcome to Primary Technology, the show about the tech news that matters. We have a huge year in review episode. We're going to talk about all the biggest news over the last 12 months, but there's still news from this week where the U.S. banned DJI products from coming in. ChatGPT did their year recaps. Instagram might pivot to long-form video, and a ton more. This episode is brought to you by Copilot Money, Framer, and all of you, the members who support us directly. I'm one of your hosts in a wintry, not really, Florida, joined by my friend Jason Aiton. How's it going, Jason?
It's good. It's not really that wintry here either anymore. It's 50 degrees. It's such Michigan is weird.
There you go. Well, it's like 70 here, but I did today's quote specifically for you, Jason.
I appreciate that. Like my favorite Christmas movie.
I knew it was Jason's favorite Christmas movie.
Elf,
I know he knows
by the way.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
You should put a link to the episode of Mott's where we talked about it.
That's what I will do, that because I can link things. Can I say, I said I was going to link something at a very specific timestamp in the last episode, and someone called me out. They were like, I don't see the link. So apparently time links don't work sometimes. I put it in the right place in the show notes with the timestamp. Apple didn't do it. But anyway, I'm going to link Movies on the Side, which is a podcast I do with my friend Nate. Jason joined us for an episode on Elf, and I will link that somewhere. And if you don't see it in the transcript, it'll be in the show notes. Today's show notes is going to be 3 miles long, just so you know, because I've pulled up exactly 324 tabs of the news from across the entire year. The whole episode's going to be a lightning round once we get to the year in review. But I also think it was very interesting stuff because looking at some of the rumors from like January and February about iOS 19, which, spoiler, never existed, and even like iPad OS rumors, the models for the iPhone 17 line, like it's all very interesting. So we're going to go back, look at all that, the biggest stories of the year. But real quick, we had an amazing 5-star review shout-outs. Someone gave us Bill in the Bay from the USA. He gave us 2 stars, but then he corrected to 5. I don't think it's going to count against us. I didn't see Apple Podcasts ever register the 2-star review, so I think we're safe. But he found me from Reddit. He found my YouTube channel from Reddit and the podcast from my YouTube. Please tell me what Reddit thread I was found on.
Also, isn't that the single most terrifying thing that someone can say to you on the internet is I found you through Reddit? Let's just be honest.
I do know, one, you can ask, I ask Perplexity. You could probably ask ChatGPT this too, to like just ask for Reddit posts that mention you by name, and it will find you links. Many of the links it finds in regards to me is either about shortcuts or the scam where someone's trying to scam app developers with a PayPal scam. Anyway, but let me know what Reddit thread you found me from. Also, Irie Go Brock from Ireland, forgive me if I mispronounced that, says we're a super podcast, we're sound lads, and he has some very nice things to say. Battery percentage off, but left pocket for phone, even though he's right-handed, reason being wallet is in the right pocket. Is that where you put your wallet, Jason?
No, I put it in the back pocket.
Back pocket, yeah. I used to do that, and then I had the George Costanza wallet. I kept putting receipts in it, and then I was getting, like, the back being thrown off, so I stopped doing that. Now I just do a MagSafe wallet. And finally, Charles C. from the U.S. gave us 5-star reviews. He uses Safari for sites he visits often, Brave for searching in any sites I don't use regularly. I have Chrome, but only use it if everything else doesn't work. That makes sense. Yeah. He's been following for a very long time, listening for years. So thank you for that. All right. I want to blow through the actual news because we actually have news, even this week of Christmas. One, unfortunately, not a Christmas gift for DJI, but the U.S. banned foreign drone models because China. And so it looks like resellers like Best Buy and maybe Amazon will be able to sell whatever stock of DJI products are currently in the U.S. still, but there's now a ban on importing these products. I saw on social media that DJI might be have a brand here in Delaware that it's renaming things, and if you buy some accessories from that brand, it fits perfectly with like an Osmo Pocket and other DJI accessories. So that might be happening. I really hope this is not a long-term ban. DJI products, the Osmo Pocket got super expensive when there was an issue with that. And now it's like right before CES when a bunch of creators were probably going to buy a DJI mic or Osmo Pocket 3. You're not going to be able to get it. So it's unfortunate.
I don't really know what the problem is because, it's a drone. So I get that it's like taking, like I have one of these, a Mavic 2 or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I have a Mavic Air, yeah.
Yeah, the little one. I get it. But like the thing doesn't have its own cell connectivity, right? It's not sending the drone footage that you take back to China, right? Like I can't even call China on my thing. Like
you can't even call.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like I don't know. I don't really see what the problem is here.
Listen, I don't either. It's unfortunate, but if you want to get DJI stuff, Maybe get it right now.
Do it now.
Do it now. Do it live. Do it now. ChatGPT did its year recap. Everybody did recaps. Spotify. Was Spotify the first to do like a Wrapped?
I think Spotify was the OG.
I think it was the OG.
It may not have been the first company, but it's the first one that made it popular, like a thing that anyone cared about.
But now, like, if you go to, like, I don't know, Publix, they're like, here's your year recap of Publix. Like, we don't need everybody to do a recap. Okay?
Listen, I turned on my dryer the other day, and it's like, let me tell you about how many socks you guys. It's like it's insane.
Here's how many socks I ate over the last year.
My microwave has a Wi-Fi connection. We turned it off so that it wouldn't send us pictures of you burnt this many things.
Hold on, wait. I've stopped the show. Did you just say that your microwave connects to Wi-Fi? Is that real?
It's not connected, but I think it has a Wi-Fi capability. I believe that's true. It's an LG.
What is it supposed to do on the Wi-Fi?
Listen, none of these things need to be on Wi-Fi. Your washer doesn't need to be on Wi-Fi. Your television doesn't need to be on Wi-Fi.
Hold on. Does that microwave have shortcuts actions? Because that'd be a different story.
Listen, I have not spent any time thinking about it more than what I just said.
Please look up if you can shortcut your microwave. Please, I need to know. You
still have to put the food in. I don't have a robot. I don't have a Joanna Stern robot in my house that will just put stuff in the microwave for me.
You got to go. That's wild. I do kind of want a smart washer and dryer so I get a notification.
I don't. I do not want that. I do not want my dryer to tell me how many pairs of socks
I do not want green eggs and ham. I do not want. Speaking of green, this TechCrunch website. So your ChatGPT. Did you do the ChatGPT recap? Did you
not yet. I'm a little bit nervous.
Nervous?
I use ChatGPT a lot for a lot of different things, and I wonder if it's very confused about me.
So,
but Steven, hold on. I have to interrupt this podcast.
Yes.
I set up a GPT.
Yes, you did it.
And it's better.
It's better, right? It is better.
Significantly better. Basically, it's just a way to tell it all the things once.
Exactly.
And mostly it remembers them.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
It does get a little bit confused if I ask it to do something slightly it's like, wait, let me try having the GPT do this. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this is not one of the 7 things you asked me to do when you set me up. But thank you for that tip. It's better. I was actually very anxious because I'm like, I don't actually know what I'm making, but it's like, oh no, just tell it things. It's like,
you just tell it things.
Save ChatGPT preferences, basically.
And then the custom GPT is everywhere. It's in the iPhone app. It's in the Mac
You know what
app.
The longest part of this entire thing was?
What's
insisting that I have to come up with a thumbnail image for it, like a profile image for it, and it makes you tell it, and it generates them, and I'm like, I don't care. This is. I
wanted to be able to upload. I just wanted to upload my.
Yes,
because I was going to upload the shortcuts icon.
This is the least important part of this entire thing, and took 14 minutes to do it.
Well, that makes me very happy. I'm glad it's a better experience for you, and maybe you might create more. I got 3 custom GPTs. I roll around.
I'm very happy to have the one. It's my research and writing assistant.
Oh, that's great. Well, I want to know your numbers, and maybe we can share that in the next episode.
Okay.
I thought I was going to have high numbers. I had over 4,000 messages sent. I'm in the top 5% of messages sent, apparently. But Parker Ortolani totally blew me out of the water. 22,000.76 messages sent.
Where do I find this? I'll do it right now while you're talking.
If you go in the ChatGPT app, or if you go to it on the web, it should just be like a recap available to you.
Definitely not in the app. So
you might need to check your iPhone app. But Parker was in the top 1%, which is insane. And so I was nowhere near it. I use it in a lot of and the other thing I realized, I transitioned a lot of my shortcuts to Apple Intelligence with the ChatGPT extension, and those don't get saved, I don't think, in my conversation. I know for a fact because all the podcast summaries that I do for Primary Tech Daily or whatever, it does not show up. And so I do have a large amount that are not in my ChatGPT account that wouldn't have been in this Wrapped, but it said some nice things about said I was a producer.
You're a producer? That's amazing.
You're a producer. So, and I was a picture of a dolphin, I think. Anyway. Did you get it?
I went to profile. It says go to profile.
No, it should be right there on the homepage.
I don't got it.
You got it?
I don't got one. I don't have one.
You should be able to ask it for give me my recap or whatever.
If you want, I can open your year with ChatGPT. Yes, do that.
Yeah, do that.
Yes, do that.
It said I was the teal tornado. Let me share a couple other images here. They gives you a weird avatar. So I'm the teal tornado apparently, whatever that means. But it said I was the producer. And there's me with a little dolphin and a hat and holding a little YouTube award. So that's fun.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, 20% of users share this archetype apparently, and then it also generates this little 8-bit image. It has a podcast mic, some AirPods, And
Samson podcast mic. I love
a Samson podcast mic, which I don't use, but that's fine. Oh, never mind. That's a screenshot I sent group.
It gave me a year in poetry. I don't want that. Big themes of the year. Okay.
Yeah, this is not your Breakup. No, you don't have it yet.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do have it?
Yeah, but it gave me, like, it's got a whole thing. It's like, here's your 3 big themes.
Yeah,
here's your year in poetry. Okay, it says I was in the top 1% of messages sent.
Oh?
Yes. How many messages did Parker Ortolani have?
22,000.
Okay, so he beat me.
Okay.
I only had 18,407.
18,000, though.
I generated 93 images. I had a total of 3,053 chats.
Okay.
And this one's weird. It says 7,919 M dashes exchanged.
Parker got 18,000 M dashes.
But here's the funny thing. There are people who stopped using M dashes because apparently ChatGPT likes using them. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I use them all the time. They're fantastic. I don't care what anybody says. It's totally fine. And I'm not self-conscious about it at all because you know what? If you can read everything I've written in the last, 7 years, and you can just
you can see it all. You can see. I've seen
Wait,
those M dashes.
that one was made before ChatGPT. Okay, Jason really uses them. So I'm not worried about it.
That's right. If you could send me that one image, if you don't mind,
I will.
Change the
strategist. It says I'm the strategist.
Strategist.
3.6% of users share this.
Okay, you're an owl. You got the owl.
I am, and it tells me like, oh, this is pretty fun.
It is kind of fun.
There we go. I'll send you this photo.
That is cool too.
Okay.
Yeah, they did pretty good at their Wrapped, I have to say. Also, the Wrapped we didn't get this year, Apple Podcasts. No Apple Podcast Wrapped. Thanks a lot. Anyway, all right, a couple other quick pieces of news, and then we'll get to our year in review. Apple warned its employees not to leave the U.S. because you might not be able to get back in for a while. This was according to Business Insider. Apple is among a list of tech companies that also includes Microsoft, Google, and ServiceNow. And they said, this is from their report, an Apple memo said, given the recent updates and the possibility of unpredictable extended delays when returning to the U.S., we strongly recommend that employees without a valid H-1B visa stamp avoid international travel for now. They also mentioned like the social media screening, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. So that's all interesting.
Yeah, and this, just to be clear, for people who are not U.S. citizens.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Just to be clear. They aren't just telling everyone. They're telling people who, if you're not a citizen, don't leave because getting back in could be tricky.
That. And finally, before our year in review, Instagram, it's like, you know what? We should probably do some long-form video too. Spoiler. And so they want to compete with YouTube. You know, there was the news last week that they're going to put Reels on the TV, which I don't think anybody would really watch. But do you ever do TikTok in the Vision Pro? Just side note.
Steven, I don't do TikTok in anything unless you send me a TikTok link and then I open it in the browser.
It's strangely not a terrible experience for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because like the vertical window doesn't matter if it's vertical or horizontal.
It's irrelevant. It's
just
infinite canvas.
It's just floating everywhere. But Instagram might do long form. I will have Facebook does long form video. Like I could upload 20-minute videos to Facebook. I just don't want to.
And no one else wants you to.
No one wants it. No one wants that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what 2026 brings in relation to that. But let's do it. Let's do our year in review. Jason, we've been doing this 4 years.
This is our original tradition, Stephen.
This is our original tradition. Jason was a guest on the Apple Insider podcast. I think we did it at least twice there.
I think that's true.
You did 2 year in reviews there, and we've done it the last 2 years for this podcast. Oh, no. Just last December. Because we started in January 2024.
Yeah, but I think we did it for that. I think our first episode was a year in review.
Well, I do think you're right. So this is our 4th time together doing the year in review.
I think that's sure. I can't figure out how the numbers work, but I think that's true.
I think that's true. That's wonderful. Well, I like looking back. It's always interesting to retrospect. So we have to get through 12 months. We'll go relatively quick. I linked a lot of Jason's articles in here, so I don't want to hear any complaining. I tried to find. I'm just kidding. So January 2025, the Apple Intelligence Summaries fiasco. I know you had an article about this, and I couldn't find it.
It's fine. If I make you go through all of my articles, we'll never get through this, so it's fine.
So the Apple Intelligence summarizing things poorly. Apple then putting the flag on that. That was January. I also had a quick note. I thought, oh man, Humane AI Pin and Rabbit R1. That was like CES in January. Then I realized not this past January. That was 2 years ago. And spoiler, in a couple months, as we go through this roundup, is when the Humane AI Pin officially died. And so it was exactly 2 years. But time is crazy that was 2 years ago. But also, TikTok was banned for 18 hours. I forgot that this was this year. It was banned for 18 hours. I have the Threads post. I don't know where the Threads post went. I had the screenshot of the Threads post. I think it opened in the app. And then, everybody would open TikTok. They saw the message saying TikTok, whatever, got shut down. And then Trump reinstated it. The latest news, I think last week, was that the sale might finally go through to a U.S. company.
Well, I think they completed it. Like they
did complete it.
Yeah, I don't know what that means because it definitely does not fulfill what the law requires. But everyone's just pretending like that's not actually a thing. Like, for real, that's exactly what's happening. And a fun little experiment, one of those however many thousand messages I just saw about, I said to ChatGPT, I said, explain to me the TikTok deal and explain to me if it meets the requirements. And it was like, here's what's happening, and no.
It said no. Okay.
100% was like, this definitely does not comply with either the spirit or the letter of the law.
Great. So that was January. TikTok got banned for 18 hours. And also in January, this is just kind of personal, but the Miami World Center Apple Store opened, and it was the first time I got a sneak peek at a Apple Store early access. And not only that, but I got to obviously get an early access, but I got to interview Deirdre O'Brien at the store. And so that was a big deal for me. So I'll put a link to those videos in the show notes. Also got to meet Michael Caputo, YouTube creator. He was actually at the store launch as well. But yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that in there.
Also, it doesn't make any difference, but it was actually Gemini that told me that the deal was no, doesn't work. It was not.
You know what? On the fact that you said Gemini, I kind of trust it just a hair more. I don't know why, but I do.
This did feel like one of those things that I wanted Google to be a part of because I'm like, just go find all the Google things about this, please.
If either ChatGPT or Google, well, I was going to say Google has more legal knowledge just from the history of Google.
This was my Gemini 3 test, actually.
Oh, okay.
Was this question. So
interesting.
I said, is the TikTok deal a real sale? What does it entail? Does it conform with the law? And what will be different for U.S. users? And it says, the deal is a complex restructuring, not a simple clean break sale. And it probably does not meet either the spirit or the letter of the law.
Yeah, I feel I'm down with Gemini on that. Yep. I like how every time you laugh, the camera follows you. Like,
sorry, I'll stop. No more laughing.
No, it's great. It adds to the effect. Also in January, the whole DeepSeek thing came out, which was like the ultra cheap, fast LLM that everybody was like, wait a minute, this can all be done for free. And it was like, wait a minute, is OpenAI scamming everybody, needing millions and billions of dollars? But I don't know. I feel like I don't really hear about DeepSeek anymore after the first couple months.
I mean, I definitely lit a fire under these companies because they realized, like, wait a minute, maybe there are other ways. It really kind of set off the whole thinking model type thing.
True. That is true. Yeah. So that was January. Relatively quiet. We also had a CES episode, if you go back and listen, where there were lots of
neither of us were there.
Well, neither of us were there. You talked about an umbrella, I think, that was I don't know, had thread and mat. I don't know what it had. Anyway, there was an umbrella and some other things. But February, Apple launched a new app. The Invites app came out in February of this past year as a part of iOS 18. And have you ever used Apple Invites, Jason?
Not even when we talked about it.
I at least used it for the video.
This is the dumbest thing I still can't figure out.
I don't. Okay, first of all, listeners, let us know. If you're in the community, social.primarytech.fm.
No, don't let us. This is...
email us, podcast@primarytech.fm. If you legitimately use the Apple Invites app for stuff, anything, please let us know. I'm curious. I still like the idea of this app, but I've not used it once.
Steven, it should be a feature of the calendar app. This is not complicated.
Sure.
And if you email us, you have to actually use this on a regular basis, not like I have used it for a YouTube video. Okay.
Don't listen to Jen. I'm fine if you used it twice. If you used it 2 times or more, but like actually invited other people, not just personally. You know what I mean? Like if you actually use it to send invites out via text message and people actually RSVP, that's what I want to know.
Without a doubt, if I have an app that I download and only use twice, I'm deleting it. There's no, no.
You know what I've found? I don't know if there's some setting changed, but on my iPhone 17 Pro Max, there's been some apps where I try to see if the shortcut action is there or pull something up, and it's not like I can't access it.
And then I offloaded it.
It offloaded it.
Yeah.
Is it? I feel like it's
gotten
more
aggressive at that. Absolutely.
It has, right?
This is a conspiracy, but yes, it's happening.
Because even the Home Depot app, which I don't use often, but I use often enough, like I went to search my past orders for like water softener salt or whatever, and it was like, oh, hold on, we got to download it real quick. I was like, You're getting a little aggressive with this, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. There's a bunch of these things in iOS 26 that I feel like it was like you didn't mean it when this was the way you decided you wanted your phone to be set up. We're just going to do this other thing instead.
Right. When I didn't even think I had that setting on.
Right.
Now that I
didn't either.
Maybe has it been since iOS 26.2, like the latest?
I don't know, but I think for sure Apple's like, yeah, we're just gonna do this the way we think we should do it. And
yeah, I like these conspiracy theories. I feel like there's a conspiracy theory here. Anyway, also in February, Valentine's Day. No, but Sonos. In February, it was rumored that Sonos was making a streaming box, and then, as you will see in March, they canceled it. And we never got one, so no streaming box from Sonos. Also, February was when Scarlett Johansson was like, we need to stop the deepfakes. I never heard anything much of this after the fact either. I mean, Sora's out there now.
Right.
I feel like, I don't know what happened with this, but she was upset about that.
I mean, there are a lot of states that have deepfake laws, and it's tricky because
how do you even?
Well, there are a lot of states where it's illegal to deepfake real humans who are recognizable, but also like what really is illegal is to do that and distribute them. Right? Like if you are posting pictures of Scarlett Johansson at your birthday party, right? Like I don't know, like it's probably that's not the thing that people are making and posting, but like it's tricky. Like these companies are going to have to reckon with this at some point. And I think there are times when companies have trained, like there's this idea where it's like, well, we can't make that photo of a recognizable person or like a celebrity or something. So there are definitely some guardrails that have been implemented into some of these, but then you're like you said, you have Sora, and it's like just you can make Mickey Mouse and Snoop and they're just hanging out. Like not Snoopy, Snoop Dogg. Like they're just hanging out.
Have you seen the memes of like somebody, they're like it looks like they're at a party or an event. They take a selfie with Jay-Z, and then they go over here and they take a selfie with Shakira, and like take a selfie with Timothy Chalamet, and it's like, obviously this is AI. Everything looks slightly weird, and it has like 1 million views. Like, why are we doing this? Anyway. Okay, we won't talk about AI. AI Slop comes up again as we go through the year in review, so I won't harp on it here. Also in February, the iPhone 16e came out, and this was actually my first iPhone review unit. Has only been my first and only, actually. This is the only one. And I did a video with my son Jordan talking about the iPhone 16e. Discovered he's battery percentage on, which is very troubling, but, you can't win them all. But also, so 16e, I feel like, yes, the iPhone Air might be a disappointment when it comes to sales. I feel like the iPhone 16e has been even less of a thing than the iPhone Air. Like, I don't think anybody talks about it or recommends it.
Yeah, I don't recommend it to anyone.
I feel like it's the replacement for the iPhone SE because the iPhone SE doesn't exist anymore.
I do know someone who bought it, and they bought it pre iPhone Air. There was an iPhone Air at the time. They bought it a while ago, and I think they're probably happy with it because they don't care about the camera, right? And I guess if that's the case, it's a good phone. Like it's got the same basic whatever. Like
it doesn't have MagSafe. It only has one camera. It's like.
But it's also what, $500 or something, $600.
Not
it's
cheap enough. That's the problem.
Well, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
But it's like now at least there's an iPhone Air, which does have MagSafe, but has at least a relatively like you can at least figure out why there's a price delta between the two and make a decision. If I don't care about cameras, do I want the super skinny one with the bigger screen, or do I just want this one?
That was you should have said this months ago. This would have been a good video. Like compare the two iPhones with one camera.
Yeah, there you go.
Because the iPhone Air and the iPhone 16 are the only two that have a single camera. The iPhone Air starts at $1,000, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's literally nothing to compare between these two, but go except for that they only have one camera.
The 16e is $600, so it's a $400 difference between the Air and the 16e. But anyway,
and with the Air, you actually literally get less phone.
Well, yes,
but that's a good thing.
No, yeah, it's a good thing. But also the 16e was the very first iPhone with Apple's own custom modem, the C1 chip, which that was the only thing it lived in because the iPhone Air has the C1X.
Right.
So that was it. But anyway, so the 16e came out in February, and here's a Jason article. Here's my ink. Humane, the AI pin died.
Yeah, it's gone.
Goodbye.
I mean, Steven still has one sitting on his desk, but
I have one right back there. I have it in a drawer.
Yeah.
I never got the little pin dock thing to work to hack it, but anyway, nobody cares. So another ink, Alexa Plus was announced
by Amazon. I still have never actually like used it, and I never even went to Alexa.com, which is like the website you can now go to. Did you experiment with that at all?
No, and I will say about this article, because I forgot I wrote it, that I don't actually think Apple's super worried about Alexa Plus at this point.
No.
I think Apple has its own problems.
Yes.
I just don't think Apple, at the time, what Amazon showed off was the future that Apple had been promising. Amazon has not exactly delivered that future either yet.
True, but in the next month, March, is when the official delay for the semantic index and official Apple Intelligence features, it came in March.
Yeah.
So technically, you know, when you wrote that article, like, it was still up in the air. Like, when is this happening?
Yeah,
Is
what's
Apple
going to
doing
happen,
this?
right?
Yeah.
The difference is you expect something different from your phone versus like the random puck that's sitting in the corner of the kitchen or whatever.
True. And yeah, like, if it plays Jeopardy, I mean, it plays Jeopardy. That's better than any HomePod. You can't play Jeopardy on a HomePod.
Fair point.
I had fun playing Jeopardy on it. All right, and last thing for February is when ChatGPT came out with Deep Research. Deep Research came out just 10 months ago. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Do you still use it pretty often?
So here's the thing now is like it just will do. I have to think longer, right? And so essentially you're using that, but you don't have to choose it. But one good pro tip is, and this is true for Gemini as well. If you're like, I need you to do a thing, think hard. It will. It'll be like, okay, I'm going to think hard about this. It's like you're not worried about the speed of it, so I will spend the time to do some extra stuff.
Right. I will say, as you created a custom GPT, I mentioned this last week. I created a Gemini Gem, which I feel like is a terrible name for a custom Gemini.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's impossible to like figure out how to create one from the Gemini interface, which is annoying. Not as good as the custom GPT.
Really,
like,
I have not done it yet. So
just looking at that one feature, a custom Chat GPT versus a Gemini Gem, I'd like the custom GPTs better, but that's just me. You also can't upload your own image for a Gemini Gem. So
okay, I have a proposal though, Stephen. Moving forward, I just had a thought. You can ignore me and delete this from the recording if you want. You should just give us a full rundown of the whole month. Here's what happened in March, and then we just decide if there's anything we want to talk about.
Oh, that's good.
We may never get through it otherwise.
Okay, let's do it. All right, here's March. It was the M4 MacBook Air, M4 Max Mac Studio, the iOS 19 redesign, widely rumored. Apple Intelligence officially got delayed, and John Giannandrea got moved out. And this is also when John Gruber wrote his Something is Rotten in the State of Cupertino, which also caused him not to have any Apple execs at the live talk show at WWDC. And then Sonos canceled its streaming player.
Yeah.
I feel like of all months...
This was a reasonable one to flip through. I mean, you did miss the M3 iPad Air.
I'm sorry, M3 iPad
March,
Air.
which is fine. We didn't miss anything. It's just the same exact thing.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, the M4 MacBook Air is the best. It's the best.
I do like the M4 MacBook Air a lot. It's fantastic. But it's also, the M3 was pretty good. So was the M2. We have two M1s rocking in our house, and they're great as well.
I also can't wait till the M5. The one thing I want to talk about was the iOS 19, just because we were still calling it iOS 19 at this point. In March, just 3 months before Dub. And, I mean, I hate to say it, but all the rumors were right. Like, all the glass redesign. John Prosser, he was then sued, which is in later months, over the leak of the liquid glass design. I mean, it was all right. This was not correct. This camera, interface, this UI. Again, when John Prosser released it, it might have been an earlier build of it. But the whole liquid glass redesign and all the rumors, they were all right, Jason.
I mean, yeah.
It's kind of annoying.
It's kind of annoying.
It's kind of annoying. The apps never went to Circle. Remember when they thought it was going to be Circle apps on the iPhone?
Oh, yeah.
That would have looked so bad.
Instead, just the control center, everything's Circle. Everything.
And can I say, I went to my iPhone beginner's guide or whatever from 2 years ago, and I looked at the control center section of that video. Control center looks 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Looking back at iOS, that would have been 17 or 16. It just looks crazy old now. But anyway, any thoughts on like Gruber's article and the whole kerfuffle there?
I mean, we talked about it at the time, and I did write a piece, something about Apple burns down its benefit of the doubt. You don't have to include it; it's fine. They didn't cut me off because I didn't actually have the same kind of access, so it was fine. But the main point was about that. It's like, whatever, this stuff is hard. No one is mad that you can't do it yet. What we're mad about is that you showed us things that were either not there and you presented them as if they were, or they just like were not like they weren't even real feature. Like it was just vaporware at that point in the purest sense of the term, but you made it seem as if it was real. And you also relied on the credibility of journalists to present it that way, but the whole thing wasn't real. So yeah, I think, I don't know. This feels, Stephen, like one of those things where I'm not surprised we don't have it yet. It's hard. Like this, but this is like the holy grail of personal computing, right? This sort of thing. But I do worry that when we finally get there, that everything else will see. It's like, it won't, I want to be impressed by it, but I'm worried that we will just be like, it's whatever. This should have been doing this all along.
The thing is, like, yes, it's hard. I also feel like we should have had something by now. And also, half of the shortcuts that I've built in the last year should have just been built in as Apple Intelligence.
Right.
And like, there was one, finally, I made a shortcut about, like, it takes a screenshot, detects if there's any like dates and times and events on screen, basically, and creates calendar events from that. We finally got that in Visual Intelligence, but there's so many other ones. Like, I just created a shortcut before we recorded because someone sent me a Threads DM. They wanted to know if you could pull all the Apple Music links that people have shared with you in your messages across all conversations and add those Apple Music tracks to a playlist. Jason, you can do that. I actually made a shortcut that does that. It actually will go through all of your messages for the last year, find any Apple Music URL, and add that song to a playlist with one button. And I made that shortcut in like 5 minutes. Now, I understand programming an entire LLM to work with all the data on your phone is probably more complicated than that. But also, is it that much more complicated? Like, I should just be able to... I asked... I was doing my shortcuts live stream today, and I showed a shortcut that basically said, decide how long you want a focus mode to last. You can choose 1 through 6 hours, and it will schedule a focus mode. Because when you trigger a focus mode from like Control Center, your options are only an hour, when you leave a location, and when an event ends. There's no way to tell it, turn on this focus mode for 3 hours. You can't do that. And so in the shortcuts live stream, someone was like, oh, what? Can't you just ask the assistant to do that? I was like, you know what? I think you can. I thought you could do that. I tried. I'm going to try it again right now. Turn on my filming focus mode for 3 hours. It says, I don't understand, Jason. It says, I don't understand.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Stephen, I just asked it to do the thing. So like, this comes later, I guess, but ChatGPT just added all the apps or whatever. And you can just literally type into ChatGPT, make me a Christmas playlist in Apple Music. And it'll make you the playlist, and then it'll make it in Apple Music.
Yes.
But if you ask Siri to do that, it'll just give you, it'll open ChatGPT and just give you a list of songs, but it won't do the extra part. It's like, what is wrong?
Listen, I'm not going to say I would have done better than John G. and Andrea. But if you would have just put me in there and let me make some shortcuts, and then somebody else makes that like into the operating system,
right?
I feel like we would have been farther along. But anyway.
Actually, though, Stephen, here's the one thing I will say. What you just described, though, what you just said is actually the reason this doesn't work. Because what you just described is when you create a shortcut, it's a distinct path of things that are happening, and LLMs just don't work that way. Yeah. And that's why they're having such a hard time. That's why Alexa Plus is terrible at your smart home, and Gemini is terrible at your smart home, because the LLM parts of them are not good at doing exact things. They wander off, they get lost, they try to interpret things. That's why for the longest time we had to train ourselves to say exact sequences of words. Like in this room, if I say like, hey Siri, turn off the main lights in my office, it's going to happen like every single time. Hopefully it doesn't happen right now. I was going to say, thankfully not. My phone unfortunately was too slow. But my point is like that it'll happen every time. But if you just say to like things like, hey, it's too light in here, turn down the lights a little bit, it has to parse all that, try to figure out what you meant, and then figure out which button to push.
I feel like, I don't know, if I could put enough if statements and make it work, because I can tell the Apple Intelligence action in shortcuts to do something very specific, and it does it every time. Like I've been using an AI recipe to notes shortcut like 3 or 4 times a week for the past several months, and it's worked every time. And the prompt is, take this information, make it look like a recipe, separate the ingredients and steps, put it in Apple Notes. And like, I should just be able to like hold the side button and be like, hey Dingus, save this recipe to notes. It should just be able to do that. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off, but I was just, it happened. It happened. All right. So we're on April. Switch 2 information came out, and then the Switch 2 would come later in June. Amazon made a bid to buy TikTok. Spoiler, that didn't happen. And what I think is interesting, the iPhone 17 rumors with the cases that started leaking. iPadOS 19, which was 19 at the time, was going to be more like macOS. That was a Gurman rumor. Yes, he was right. OpenAI, the rumor was he was building a social network, Sam Altman at OpenAI. That hasn't happened yet. And rumor about the iPhone Air. This was actually Unbox Therapy guy. I forget his name. But, sorry, Lewis. Lewis, he had the model of the iPhone Air. So all the models were coming out at this time. This is April, and we didn't see these phones till September. But the model of the iPhone Air was pretty much spot on. I mean, even the camera bump on the back. So, I don't know. That was April.
Other than the Switch 2, which was a big deal. Which is probably the biggest deal of all of April. Everything else is just rumors.
But
April kind of stunk.
It kind of stunk, but it's also interesting that like this was all accurate. Like the huge cutout, which I was in denial of about at the time, that was real. That happened.
True. Yeah, and was this the month, Stephen, that you got sent a rogue case? You had a pre-release leaked case.
I did, but I got it in like June or July.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. No, unfortunately. So that was April. Now May gets a little bigger, but before we get to May and the rest of the year, let's take a quick break. This episode is brought to you by Copilot Money. After all the holiday spending, I know there's been a lot of gifts happening, at least in our house. It's been a challenge to get a rein on where all the money is, where it's going, where it needs to be. Well, Copilot Money is going to be able to help you do that heading into next year and beyond. Copilot Money actually won the App Store Awards Editor's Choice, and it was a Design Awards 2024 finalist. It is a beautiful app, both on the iPhone, on the Mac, and on the web, and it helps you navigate, track your finances across all your different accounts all in one place. As I've been going independent and being just in business for myself, being able to track all the money, all the transactions across all the accounts, it is really important. And Copilot Money can help you do exactly that. It's all your accounts in one place, AI-powered spending categorization, which is always annoying to actually go back and for every transaction to the category. Well, Copilot Money uses AI to categorize automatically. Clear, easy to understand views of spending. You can see all your subscriptions and upcoming recurring charges in one place so you can stay ahead of those renewals, track your budgets, saving goals, and net worth seamlessly. And of course, it is privacy first. They never sell your data, and it has native apps across all the platforms, iOS, iPad, Mac, and the web. And they actually have a brand new web experience that really looks beautiful. You can also see the cash flow tab, which is designed to give you a quick look at how you're doing in important areas like income, spending, and net income. Of course, see all your accounts, your investments, those recurring charges, and it syncs with everything, including things like your Apple Card, Amazon, Venmo, and more. So for a limited time, you can get 26% off your first year when you sign up at try.copilot.money/primary. And when you do that and use the promo code primary, you get 2 months for free. So start the new year with clarity, get a hold of your finances, go to try.copilot.money/primary. The link is also in the show notes below. It's your money, beautifully organized, now across every device. Our thanks to Copilot Money for sponsoring this episode and our friends at Framer. When it comes to design tools, most are gated behind a paywall, but not Framer. With Design Pages, you get a full-featured professional design experience, including vector workflows, 3D transforms, image exporting, and more, completely for free. Framer already built the fastest way to publish beautiful, production-ready websites, and it's now redefining how we design for the web. With the recent launch of Design Pages, a free canvas-based design tool, Framer is more than a site builder. It's a true all-in-one design platform. From social assets to campaign visuals to vectors and icons, all the way to a live site. Framer is where ideas go live, start to finish. It's your entire workflow in one place. No Figma imports, no messy HTML. It's faster, cleaner, and more efficient. And you can design more than just websites. It lets you create social assets, campaign visuals, icons, even site resources, all inside the tool. So if you're ready to design, iterate, and publish all in one tool, start creating for free at framer.com/design and use the promo code primary for a free month of Framer Pro. That's framer.com/design and use promo code primary, framer.com/design, promo code primary. Rules and restrictions may apply. That link and promo code is also in the show notes. And our thanks to Framer for sponsoring this episode. Okay, May, Apple and Epic. Epic finally won at least part of its case with Apple, and that was when Judge, I forget her name.
Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers.
Thank you, Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers. teared into Apple for basically not abiding by the anti-steering policy. So Apple had to change some things there. My deep fake came out in May. I'm not sharing that again. Airbnb, you were at that Airbnb event, right?
I was.
In
I
May,
was there.
you were there. And
Johnny Ive was there.
Johnny Ive was there. And Google I.O. And you were there as well. You were at
May
Google
was a
I/O.
very, very busy month for me. Like, I went all these places. I got heart failure. Like, it was a busy time.
Yeah, I was going to, yes.
We'll save that one.
All of that. Well, in the June month is when you wrote your article.
That's true.
That's why I have that there. That's the love letter from Sam Altman and Johnny Ive came out in May announcing the I.O., which was contested name. And then Mark Gurman, of course, leaked that the name change was iOS 26, not 19, whatever, a week before WWDC. Just, yeah, critical rumor there. But anyway, that was all. Oh, and also, it was the Sky AI, it was featured in Mac Stories. Federico Viticci wrote about it. But Sky AI it's a company, they were making a Mac app. It was some of the team of Sky was the original workflow and shortcuts team at Apple. They made this app, and later, which we'll see, I have the article too, but they were acquired by OpenAI. So Sky is not an app you can get on your Mac yet. They were acquired, and so we'll have to see what happens there. But I don't know. You were the busiest that month. I don't know. What do you think?
And we managed to have Gruber on that month.
And Gruber was a guest on the show. I will do a timed link for that as well.
Yeah. The one thing I thought about was, because spoiler alert, the Epic versus Apple thing was just overturned on appeal, right? So essentially what the judge was like, Apple is just being belligerent. I hold them in contempt. And so now you've lost the ability to charge any commission, right? Anything. To people who use external payment, you get nothing. And the appeals court was like, nah, that's not how it works, man. You can't just be like, no, zero. They can't have the 27%, but it can't be zero. They really are going to have to figure this out. And I think even at the time, everyone knew that, like, she was super mad. But essentially the takings clause prevents her from taking Apple's intellectual property. All this is to say is, like, we're not done yet. We're not done with Epic versus Apple. And this was like Apple won like 9 of the 10 points of that case. Yes. The one thing that they lost on was this, and they just couldn't bring themselves to, like, comply with it without being belligerent about it. So yeah, I don't know. There was a lot that happened that month. I mean, May is really when things start to kick off. The thing I can't help but that I keep coming back to is, doesn't it seem like the perfect partner for ChatGPT is Apple? Because Google and Android have Gemini.
Yes.
Right? Meta has whatever Meta's doing.
Yeah.
Like, it has all this stuff. But it's like they already have a partnership. They are the perfect partners, and they went and they hired Johnny Ive. They're basically saying, well, we can't be partners now. Like, you can't hire Johnny Ive and then still to build a device because everyone is, like, dying because of their phone, and then also still be the kind of partners, because the iPhone is the perfect distribution system for this stuff. ChatGPT is already the winner. I feel like that was I guess my point is, that seems like such a short-sighted move. What do you think?
Well, but I mean, they want to do hardware. And if you want to do like with so many AI hardware devices that have failed, you have to have something else like behind it to give it credibility, I think, legitimacy. And so hiring probably one of the most recognized hardware designers of the last 10, 20 years. Okay, yeah, I mean, grab Johnny Ive. Yeah, it's going to sour the relationship with Apple, but also, I mean, it's not like Apple's ever going to kick ChatGPT out of the App Store. No. And like, Apple doesn't have AI that they're competing with. And so maybe it's just like, what are they going to do? I mean, I guess they could kick ChatGPT out of the integration, but I don't think ChatGPT cares about that either, because they still have the app.
Remember when Google was giving Apple $20 billion to not build a search engine? Like, now, like how that's working, right?
Yes.
Google was able to keep Apple from competing in that space because of that partnership. ChatGPT could have had that, and they didn't.
True. But I think long term, well, they have to figure out how to be profitable. So, not that I don't think hardware is going to be that, but maybe they think it is.
Should we place a bet right now?
Yes. I don't know on what, but
in 1 year. Gosh, is 1 year a long enough timeline? In 1 year,
okay,
what do you think that the chances are better that Apple will have figured it out and delivered a hit product with Siri, or ChatGPT will be out of business?
Oh, I didn't realize you were going there.
Yeah, but Which one do you think has a greater chance of happening? So you're thinking Siri being great is a better chance of happening.
Yeah, Siri being great would be, yes, that. Because ChatGPT is, again, too big to fail. In a year?
Okay.
In a year.
We'll see. 1 year from now.
So what do you say?
I think it's 50-50.
But you can't say that. If it's a bet, which
Okay,
is
then
the
I think
one?
that so then my answer is basically an indictment of Apple as much as it is of ChatGPT, because I think that there's a greater chance that ChatGPT is gone than that Siri has delivered on all.
I mean, yeah, that's a serious...
Right? I feel like that's actually an easy bet.
But to be gone in a year.
I think there's a greater chance of that than Siri being great.
All right, well, we'll see. Do you think that we will see here's our second bit. Will we see OpenAI at least show us legitimate hardware by the end of 2026?
Definitely not. Did you hear Johnny
not?
Ive talking about it? Ideas are ideas, and we have a lot of ideas, and some of those ideas are ideas, and the other ones are just ideas. Only he says it with a British accent, so it sounds much smarter. Also, every time I try to do a British accent, I don't know why it sounds like Hermione Granger, but whatever.
I mean, I say it's not going to ship in 2026, but we're going to see the hardware by the end of 2026. We're going to see it. That's
like in a leaked photo or an event?
No, that they are going to, it might be like December 30th, 2026, but they're going to say, here's our device coming next year. They're going to say that by the end of the year. You don't think so?
Okay.
Well, you already disagreed. We'll take that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. June was a big month. It was my first WWDC. It was very exciting. Was there in person. Apple Intelligence Shortcuts was a huge deal. I did 1,000 videos on that since DubDub. Liquid Glass was a thing, and you, ChatGPT, might have saved your life.
Yeah.
And then also
big month
to do big month. Also, the F1 notification through the Apple Wallet got everybody mad.
Yeah, everybody was real mad about that.
What? So, like, real quick, a scale of 1 to 10. iOS 26. Not necessarily Liquid Glass on its own. Maybe we could do that second. iOS 26, 1 to 10. What would you rate it?
Just how good is it?
Don't say 7. Yeah. Just overall.
I would give iOS 26. I would give it a solid B+. I'm not going to do, they don't know how to do 1 through 10. So I'm giving it a B+. I'm thinking like, how well did you do on the assignment? You got a B+ on the assignment.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not sure what the assignment was exactly, because I don't think the Liquid Glass, I think if they didn't do Liquid Glass, it'd have been an A-, because I think the features of iOS 26 are good. I think there's some good stuff in there.
I do think there's some good features in there. I can't say the same thing. This is always the issue Nate and I get into when we review a movie. We don't want to give it the same rating. I'm going to give it a solid B.
I thought you were going to say 7. I'll give it a 7. No. Wait.
I'll give it a solid B because there's so many good features in iOS 26.
Fixed photos, the stupid scroll navigation, they fixed it.
I mean, the Apple Intelligence Shortcuts alone is a huge deal for me. Like, that gets an A+. But there's still such a lot of weird quirks. The brightness on my phone still gets weird sometimes. Like, I can't turn the brightness down until I turn the screen on and off. Keyboard and autocorrect, I feel like, is still weird. It's been offloading my apps.
Terrible. Autocorrect is a disaster.
So, like, all of that makes me feel like there's a lot of stuff under the hood that's still not great. So I'll give it a B, and, Liquid Glass in there, too.
Do you use the unified phone? I can't hold my screen up because it'd just be giving away a bunch of people's phone numbers. Or do you still use the separate one?
Oh, because
I do not use the unified one. I cannot stand that. I do not want my voicemails and my missed calls to be in the same thing. That is insanity.
So that's the setting I have to change.
Who wants that, Steven? Listeners,
where do you even find
I need to know.
the
Just tap on the little, it's not a hamburger, but the little thing. Wait, you don't, because you're using that setting?
Yeah, I got to turn this
So
off.
there's a setting up in the corner, or there's a little 3 lines, and you can go to classic.
Oh, I just changed it. Honestly,
who does that? Why would anyone want that? Listeners, I want to know what kind of insanity would drive someone to use the unified system. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Can I say I was trying to create a shortcut that has to do with sharing a voicemail, and I was like, where are my voicemails? I can't find them.
So crazy.
I had to go to the little magnifying glass, because if you go to the magnifying glass and then scroll down, they're there. I didn't realize I needed to change that. Okay. Yeah. That's about to be an Instagram reel.
Okay, so we did figure out the answer, which is that no one should be using the unified.
Solid B.
Okay.
Anyway, and then so that was June. I mean, it's all the stuff we've been talking about. Let's go to July, because this is a big one. I feel like
July, AI Slop went mainstream because this is when John Oliver did a Last Week Tonight all on AI Slop. It is also Grammarly acquired Superhuman. Apparently, I can't see this article because Reuters. But anyway,
If only I had written about this too. Then you could have just.
It's got to be there somewhere. Anyway, Grammarly was acquired by Superhuman, and there was the rumors that Apple might ditch their internal AI efforts and go with Gemini, which is still rumored possible. Sarah Dietschy was on the show in July. That was super fun. Also, the colors for the iPhone 17 supposedly leaked. Spoiler, we'll have to go. I do want to talk about those because it was interesting. Apple Care 1 launched and is still a dumpster fire in my opinion because I think half my devices are on it, half of them are not. I can't tell which, and who knows how to work it. So there's that. John Syracuse has also complained many times about Apple Care 1. The ChatGPT agent mode came out, so you could use ChatGPT agent. Also, John Prosser was sued over those iOS 26 leaks. That was that. And the AI bunnies on the trampoline, I think, again, just goes with the AI slop theme. Not great. Yeah. Real quick, with the iPhone 17 colors, I just want to say this was a Mac Rumors article. These colors, it was a report originally from Macworld from Felipe Esposito, and some of these were leaked by Majin Buu on X. But the 17 Pro colors were supposedly going to be black, white, gray, dark blue, and orange. I mean, I guess if you call silver white, it got 3 out of 5, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't, but whatever. Like the colors are colors. I don't know. I just don't like.
I'm just saying. As I looked back at these rumors, I was like, when the models come out that you see on the internet, it's like pretty sure like that's probably what the phone is like, the shape of the phone. Like it's probably going to be the camera bump, the shape, and again, it's because case makers need to be able to design their cases for mass production, and so these models float around over the summer and even earlier. But when it comes to like the iPhone color rumors or similar, like, be suspect of that. Again, the redesign was accurate, but anyway.
Steven.
Yeah.
I don't understand something. This happens a lot on the show. I just say that. I don't understand. I have had literally zero problems with Apple Care 1. It worked perfectly. Like, and the only people I think it doesn't work for are people who try to do weird things like, I could add this to my plan if I log in a second account into it because then it'll think that it's mine. I'm not saying you do that, but the other person you mentioned, that's the only... The reason it doesn't work for you is you're not doing it the way that they want you to do it. Now, I'm not suggesting that what you're doing is wrong. I'm just saying, like, it's not at all surprising to me that that's the case. I have not had a single problem. In fact, when I got a new iPhone,
yes,
it literally just, they switched it over for me and I didn't have to do anything.
Well, maybe I'm holding it wrong.
Zero problem.
Maybe I'm holding it wrong. What I will say, because I've had a number of review units the past couple months, which has been very nice, the red badge that you have to try and dismiss because the device is not on Apple Care is infuriating. Like many times, even if you go through the process and click like, sure, sign me up, no, just kidding, it'll go away like temporarily and then it comes back.
Yeah, okay, so hold on. Totally separate issue.
Yeah, totally separate
I've
issue.
already programmed my brain to ignore every red dot inside the settings app because it's all just garbage ads. For example, right now it says add Vision Pro to Apple Care 1. I'm sorry, but this is Apple's. I'm not adding it to Apple Care 1.
Right, exactly.
If I drop it and the screen breaks, I'm just going to send it back to Apple. I'm not going to repair it. Like there's the 0% chance I'm going to add this to my Apple Care plan. Although it would be a good deal because it's like cheaper to add it to an Apple Care 1 plan than it is to just pay for it.
Yes, it is. But just overall, yeah, like the badges in settings has gotten out of hand.
Yes.
That also
hard agree. Like totally agree with you on that. But I'm just saying, like, I have 4 devices on my Apple Care 1 plan and it has been flawless.
Maybe the problem is I have 30 devices on my Apple Care 1.
But here's the thing, you're trying to add devices that are not primarily
I'm not adding
yours.
No, I'm not adding the review units. I'm not adding
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like you bought a watch for your kid, so you're trying to add it to the Apple Care 1 plan, but that's not the spirit of what they're trying to do.
It shouldn't give me the option then. Because it shows me like, do you want to add?
You know.
Well, I didn't know when it first came out. When it first came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'll add my entire family's devices to Apple Care 1 because they're
I
all
just
there.
feel like it's super simple. The concept of it is so easy. Like every individual, okay, here's why. This is probably why this seems super simple to me because Apple already does this for businesses. You can pay for your business essentials and they get 3 devices. On it, you can have a Mac, a phone, and an iPad or whatever. You get 3 devices per individual, but you can't have like the phone for this guy and the phone for this guy on the same one just because of the same thing.
All I know is I have 83 Apple Care recurring subscriptions, and I don't know what any of them do. So I'm just
oh my gosh, Steven, that's traumatizing.
This is what I'm saying. Anyway, so that was July. That was July. August was relatively quiet, although Tim Cook said, we're ready to put our wallet where our mouth is or whatever, and it's going to catch up on AI. I'm not
We're
sure.
ready to eat our vegetables after our ice cream.
I guess that. I don't know if that's even happened yet. I don't know. But anyway, Tim Cook was like, yeah, we're going to do it now. OpenAI teased a GPT-5, which we're on 5.2 now, that Google Breakup was in the courts and Perplexity made its ridiculous, yeah, we'll buy Chrome or whatever. And then the Pixel 10 came out and it has MagSafe, and they had the weird event with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
there you go.
I do get my getting right points because Perplexity was never going to. I said it was never going to happen, and it did not happen. So.
It did not happen. No, it did not happen. And then September, big month, obviously. It was iPhone month, which we've talked about the iPhones a ton. But also, Instagram for iPad came out. I've not opened it once.
So stupid.
I've not opened it once since I downloaded it.
I opened it the other day because I was using my iPad and I wanted to look. My daughter sent me something or whatever, and she's like, I just sent it to you. I'm like, hang on, I'll open the Instagram app because I didn't have my phone next to me. And I'm like, nope, sorry, I have to look later. Not even doing it.
It's not still.
It is so bad. You should not have a different navigation organizing principle. It's not just that it opens to Reels. It's that if you want the normal stuff, you have to go to a totally foreign, weird thing.
It is very strange. I don't open it. I don't touch it. So that's Instagram. Also, I'll put my iOS 26 review in there because I did talk about some of the shortcomings of iOS 26 in that video. Also, Chance Miller was on the show in September. That was super fun. Amazon had their 2025 hardware event. We talked about a lot of different echoes and such. And Sora. No, that's October. Just kidding.
Yeah, I think you were jumping back and forth.
I went too far. Right. I went too far. The Amazon one was October too. I went too far. So September was just the iPhone month. And iOS 26. That's it.
Correct. Well, all of the 26s.
All of the OS 26. I wish there was a unifying name since now they all have the same number. But anyway. October. I'm sorry. October was Amazon's hardware event. At ChatGPT or OpenAI released the Sora app, and the world started to crumble. The Pixel 10 Fold came out. Austin Mann was on the show in October. Also, all the M5 devices, the M5 iPad, M5 Apple Vision Pro, and M5 MacBook Pro. Also quit my job in October. I was on the Vergecast in October, and OpenAI bought Blue Sky, and Joanna Stern had her wonderful video about the humanoid robots that may or may not ever come out, for real. Big month. October was a big month.
Big month for Steven. I was on the Vergecast. I quit my job. I bought a Vision Pro. Whatever.
It was a really, really big month. And I do have did you see my picture with the Apple Vision Pro that I posted?
The one where you're sitting. I can't believe you didn't clean up the nightstands first, to be honest.
Listen.
That's the only thought that I had.
For the video, we cleaned up the nightstands. But then I was like, I need to take a real good picture for the thumbnail. So I was like, can we get over, and I'm already asking my wife to put on a Vision Pro, which is a lot to ask. And she already cleaned off the nightstand once. So I was like, you know what? I can use AI when I actually make the thumbnail. I'll just remove the stuff. So I'll
you should have done is taken her on a plane and come up with 3 things you could do together on a plane.
Well, I don't want to spoil the video.
Okay.
It was actually pretty good. The hard part is while we're watching the Red Bull skiing, it's like, what am I going to show in this video? Because I can't, there's no, there's a trailer for the Red Bull stuff, so I have 5 seconds of skiing footage, but then that's it. So anyway, I got to figure out how to do that.
I can't believe there's not much to say, but it is funny to me that we just blew past the month where Apple released all of its important products. Just moved right on past
M5?
September.
The M5?
No, it was September. We didn't even talk about a single thing other than Instagram.
I mean, we've talked about iPhone 17 and iPhone Air for
I agree
months.
with you. But of those 3 M5 devices, we agree the M5 iPad is the only one that matters at this point.
I think so. I thought you were super bullish on the M5 MacBook Pro.
It's great. I think it's great, but it's I don't know, it's not an amazing thing. It matters in the sense that there are people who will buy it and they will get an amazing computer. It's fantastic. It's in many ways faster than my M4 Pro Mac Mini.
I'm excited for the M5 MacBook Air, honestly.
I think that will be, based on the M5 MacBook Pro, I think the M5 MacBook Air will make a lot of people really happy. And she's not going to listen to this ever, but that we'll probably buy our daughter one when she goes to college. Right? So it just needs to come out before May, please.
I typically do not upgrade my laptop very often, or my desktop. I had the M1 MacBook Pro, and then I had the M1 Pro MacBook Pro because that was a physical redesign. I skipped the M2. I got the M3. I skipped the M4 MacBook Pros, but then I got the M4 MacBook Air. But I will say I'm probably going to upgrade to the M5 MacBook Air just because. It's probably going to be significantly better.
Yeah, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, anyway. So, no, those were all big products. iPhone... What would you give the iPhone 17 Pro
on a scale of 1 to 10, but in your language, A through F. What letter grade?
I would give it an A-. I like it. The iPhone 17 Pro. I like it. And I will give the iPhone 17 Pro an A-. I would have given the iPhone 17 Pro Max in orange a C- because I hated orange and it was so heavy. I did not like I am firmly in the I am not a Max size person. The 17 Air, no, it's not a 17 Air. It's just the iPhone Air.
The iPhone Air. That's
is I would say a great size. And its benefits from the fact that it's very light. But I think I would give this an A-. I'm not literally the only thing that could be better about this phone is if it was lighter.
Sure. I'm going to give the Pro Max, it is very big and heavy, but I'm still going to give it an A because the cameras are incredible. Battery life has been way better for me than the 16 models. And I've gone caseless since I got it. And the design has finally grown on me. I was really undecided about the design.
It's fine.
It's fine. Seeing sometimes like the older camera bump style, I don't know how Apple does it, but somehow they make it feel old. I don't know how they do it. But
I am going to just tell you right now, I have the Bellroy case on here.
Yes.
The camera control is a little bit too, it's a little too touchy.
Hard
you
to
brush that thing. No, it's too, like I activate it all the time, constantly.
Really?
Yeah. Like you just run your finger over it and it's like, I'm here. I got it. I'm good. Let's
Camera?
go.
Picture?
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Quick November, I crashed out about Apple Podcasts.
That was a thing.
That was great. I will time link that episode. But also, iOS 26.2 was coming out. You also wrote about the Apple Podcasts app, and you included our show in there. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Slide over and Split View came back to iPad. Welcome returns. ChatGPT 5.1 came out. This was just last month. Lots of rumors about Tim Cook, and also like whether the succession plan, who was leaving. AirDrop came to Android. That was last month. And also Gemini 3 launched. Big deal. And you went to the F1 race, right? That was in November.
I did. I went to Portugal too, which is fine because it was not like all that exciting, except for I got to interview the team principal from Red Bull. I just wanted to say that again.
That's great. That's great.
But yeah.
November was big. And then finally, we're in this month. Al and I and the Apple Exodus all happened. We've talked about that. We gave our proper Apple device ranking. I still feel very good about that.
Yeah.
The whole Netflix Warner Brothers deal happened. OpenAI had their code red, and I feel like actually moved because of that code red. They had to deal with Disney, also GPT 5.2, the apps that are now available in the ChatGPT app, even on the iPhone, and YouTube got the Oscars. That was just last week on the show.
Yeah, and I've had a follow-up thought. We don't do follow-up on this show, but if we did, what I would say is the reason that YouTube there's never going to be a category for, the award goes to best YouTuber is that none of the people in the Academy want YouTubers to have any more traction than they have because that is their biggest competition.
Yeah, but I feel like I still think there's going to be a category, even if it's like best independent film on YouTube. Like
hosted
that might be
hosted on a streaming service that is not Netflix. That's what it's going to be.
It'll be interesting. Dad, has Netflix won any Oscars? Ever won an Oscar?
Because no one in Hollywood likes.
But they're all on the stuff. Jason Bateman, all he does is make stuff for Netflix now.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, so that was the year. That was a lot of stuff happened this year, Jason. It's going to keep moving faster.
Yeah,
it's going to keep moving. All right. Well, we want to do some picks for the end of the year for our personal tech. We got 3 picks each, and this is describe these picks. How are these picks?
Okay, I'm working on an article called "The Best Tech I Used All Year."
Yes.
Okay, I got a list of 12 things or something. And I thought it would be fun for us to just talk briefly in an episode where we just talked for 3.5 hours about everything that happened all year, about what the best tech we used all year was. And these don't have to be like the best new features. Like this is not necessarily the iPhone 17 Pro Max has to be on this list because it's the most advanced smartphone you've ever used. This is in your day-to-day life. What are the 3 best pieces of tech that you used? And I will do my 3 and then I'll give a quick rundown of the other ones that are on my list just so that people know like these are the things, and then you'll get to read about it eventually because it's not going to be finished by the time this episode publishes.
So do you want to go back and forth? Or you just want
we can go. Let's go back and forth. So I'll go first. The first one that I am going to mention is this Mac Mini M4 Pro. Right? I've been a laptop person for a very long time. I podcast from this every week with Steven. It crushes everything I need it to do. In fact, there are times when I will use the Screens app on my iPad and just use this Mac Mini because it's just so good at doing so many things. And I love it. It's so nice I underestimated how nice it was not to have to plug in your laptop every time you sit down. Like there's just something nice about walking up to the keyboard.
I know.
It's on, and all my stuff is there. So
it's amazing.
It's great. I love it.
I love desktops too. And I mean, I would pick my Mac Studio, if I was picking a computer, because it's amazing. Like it's so nice when you can have a piece of gear or equipment that you're never looking for something else. And I have tried to organize my studio and life in that way. But like the Mac Studio is that. Like I have no desire to get anything else besides that. Also, like the microphone I use to film my videos. I bought this microphone 4 years ago. It's the Sennheiser MKH416. It's what I use in all my video stuff. It was $1,000 microphone, which was a hard pill to swallow when I bought it. But I never, ever even think about or care to look at a review video for another shotgun mic, because this is like the industry standard and it sounds great and I never have to think about it again. So like when you can have that thing that just you never think about again, like that's worth it. And that leads me to my first pick. Two of my picks are charging related, so I apologize. But this first one, the reason is I charge a lot of things, and I've had different like desk chargers, basically a thing that sits on the desk that I can plug cables into and charge stuff. Because if I'm doing a video or a review, like a lot of times when I'm talking about the 3-in-1 chargers, I'll plug it into the charger on my desk because I don't need to plug it into the wall. Like I got a charger right here. But I had an Anker one, a different Anker one before, or whatever, and they didn't have retractable cables built in. So I always had to grab a cable, plug it into the thing, and then plug it into the device. And I was like, I want to simplify this even further. And so I got this Anker desktop charger. It is not the most powerful, but it does offer 100 watts if you're charging a single device. But it has 2 retractable USB-C cables, and it's perfect. Because for 95% of the devices I need, it charges it plenty fast, has a little screen to let you know how fast it's charging, and I can just pull the cable, charge, and it retracts right back in. It has been the perfect thing. And another important thing for me is to have an outlet that's easily accessible when I'm reviewing something or talking about a product I need to plug in, like with an actual outlet. And so this thing has 3 outlets on the back. So I can literally plug in whatever, a full-on plug in the back of this thing. And what I finally did, I put a 3M sticky strip on the bottom of this on the desk so I can pull the retractable cable. It doesn't move. I can tug it and the retractable cable goes back in and it goes away, and the box never moves. It never shifts, and it has been the perfect desktop charger. And there's another USB-C port on the side, and it's been great. That's it.
Awesome. Okay, my second one are going to be AirPods Pro 3. They're just great.
Yeah.
Like they sound better than AirPods Pro 2. The noise cancellation is unreal. It's so good.
It is. It's very
All
good.
of the things that you already like about AirPods Pro 2, like transparency mode, adaptive, whatever, like all that stuff is great. It's fantastic. The hearing aid feature I actually use pretty regularly. It's pretty good. I like it. People make fun of me because I'm wearing one AirPod. I'm like, no, I can hear you better.
It works.
I promise.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it out. If I take it out, I will hear you worse. So I'm just going to keep wearing it. And I think that they're good. The only thing I don't like about them is what I mentioned, I think, last week, which is that they are constantly trying to use smart
conversation awareness.
No, the charging thing where it only charges to 80%,
Yeah.
and you tell it turn this off, and it's like, you don't mean
That's-
that. I'm going to just do this.
That is annoying. That's a great pick. All right, now my second pick, totally unrelated, but as I was going through the fiasco of sending pins around the world, I needed a way to print shipping labels at home. And this was a world I knew there were many, many thermal printers out there, and I knew it was a crapshoot. Like, I had no idea, is this going to suck? Is this going to be great? And I am happy to report this, I've never heard of it before. This label, it's a thermal label printer. It's a Nelko, and it connects to whatever you want. It can even connect to your iPhone or iPad via Bluetooth. It has an app, and you can print labels. Like, I would literally go to the post office website, create a bunch of labels, and download a PDF for the exact size label that these are. And I could print a bunch. And you know what? It's actually good, and it works. And it was, I don't know how much it was when I bought it. It's on sale right now. It was $70. If you need to do label printing or you're going to ship stuff, this thing has actually been great. And it actually allowed me to mail pins around the world. I never would have done it otherwise. And it works with your Apple device. It's great. So anyway,
Probably shouldn't have done it anyway, but never would have done it.
But I did it, and this thing actually worked. So that was good. All right, tell me your third one.
My last one, and this is just this just overemphasizes the idea that the best tech that we use on a regular basis doesn't have to be new, right? The AirPods
right.
Pro 3 are pretty new, right? Like, but this M4 Pro Mac Mini is not. It came out last year, right? Like, it's not new. But my other best tech I use is been a favorite of mine now for 16 years.
16 years.
And it is the Apple wireless keyboard.
Get out of here.
No. Steven.
Over.
No. You can this is actually, in my opinion, this is the best keyboard Apple's ever made.
There's no Touch ID.
It doesn't need Touch ID. It's fine. Think about it. Okay, Steven, there is a little difference. No offense.
Okay.
I think I type a lot more than you do. Just in general.
That is fair.
I think I type a lot more than you do.
I'll give you that.
Also, this one, I probably should be really careful about doing this, but basically silent. It is basically silent. It has the perfect amount of resistance. But also, Steven, think about this. Do you have another wireless Bluetooth device in your life that has worked for 16 years perfectly? There's no way.
That's a good point.
0% chance. This one works perfectly. I've actually had two of them. The other one, I lost like the P key. I don't know how, so I can't use that one anymore because you can't buy replacement keys. The only drawback to this thing is it takes AA batteries. That's like the only thing that's a bummer is it takes AA batteries, which means eventually you have to replace them every so often. I probably replace them like every 6 months, maybe 8 months. It's really not like prohibitively a problem. But this is like Gruber using the Apple extended keyboard from
extended keyboard
1993 or something, whatever it is. I don't even know when it came out. But this keyboard, I'm telling you, I've tried the Logitech mechanical keyboard. I have a Keychron keyboard right here. I've used the Magic keyboards with and without Touch IDs. Yeah. I've used them all. This one, Steven, is probably the best keyboard I use. And as a writer, someone who writes a lot, it's perfect.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right. Well, my last pick, I just changed it while you were talking. I was going to say my favorite power bank this year, which is super boring, but it's just the one I keep using, even though I have like 30 of them at my disposal. This Belkin 65 watt. But anyway, my actual pick is something I bought twice. That's how much I liked it. I don't know if there's ever been something that you lost and you've just wanted it so bad you just bought it again. But this was that thing for me. And it is the GroveMade Task Knife. GroveMade actually sent me the first one. And I loved it so much because I just keep it here in my studio. This is my unboxing knife. This is, a little blade, for whatever you need to do. It's beautifully designed. It's weighty. It feels really nice. And I lost the first one. It's somewhere in the house. I have no idea where it is.
That's what you really want, is to lose a knife somewhere in your house.
I know. I look for it everywhere. I have no idea where it went. It might be like under the thing or whatever. But I bought it. Again, I think I paid twice for it. I can't remember. I don't know if they sent it to me. But I bought it twice. It's actually out of stock right now. Oh, no. Maybe because it's so popular around the holidays. But anyway, the Task Knife from GroveMade, it's like $70, which seems astronomical for an unboxing knife. But it's so nice, and I enjoy using it. That's my third pick, and I've been using it since I came into the studio. So the Task Knife.
So do you have a recommendation for people?
Oh, a recommendation. No,
I do. I'll give a recommendation.
You give a recommendation.
I'm going to just recommend because I'm looking at my desk to find things, but no, because this is another thing from my list. But I would recommend, I love this 65 watt Nomad charger. It's a dual USB-C. I would just recommend this for people. Like if you walk around with your laptop in your backpack very often and you'd like an adapter that will just be super slim, this will fit into like any pocket because of how slim it is. And this is my recommendation. So
okay, that's pretty good. Well, I'll make this my recommendation and I made a video about it, but Stream Deck. I used a Stream Deck a long time ago and then couldn't figure out how to work it back into my workflow. And then they wanted to send me some stuff, and I was like, sure, send it. I'll try to figure out how to do it. And now I'm all in. I'm all in on the Stream Deck, mostly because I figured out, I got this version with the knobs. One, I figured out how to create multiple profiles so I can control my video switcher from it and also run a bunch of shortcuts. So I have a bunch of shortcuts that I run. I even have shortcuts that start and stop audio hijack sessions. So I can start recording an audio thing just by clicking one of the buttons. I also, with the knobs, the reason why I like the knobs, and you could program a button to do this too, but you can program the knob to do something when you turn it left, when you turn it right, and when you click it in. So I use the knobs to scroll through pages, And then I also CleanShot X through keyboard shortcuts. I can program it to do things with CleanShot X, which I used like during Apple events and stuff. And I've really, really enjoyed it. And so there's lots of different versions of Stream Deck. You could look at my video, but I got the white one with the gold knobs. They also have like the small version. Oh, and the other thing, you can get a network adapter now, or like they have a bunch of attachments that go in the back. You can get one with like an XLR connection. So if you want to use it with a microphone and that be your audio interface, you could do that. But I got the one with the network adapter, and you could do power over Ethernet. So you don't have to take up another USB-C port on your computer or in your dock. You can literally just put this on your network. Then it also communicates to all your network stuff too. So it's really cool. I've been really loving the Stream Deck, and I use it every day now. It's pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Amazing.
All right, we got to record a bonus episode about coffee because I got a new coffee machine. I got to tell Jason about it. So, number one, happy holidays. Hope you have a great holiday break. And we will be here before New Year's. We're going to give you a New Year's episode. But did we talk about what we're going to do? Are we doing our predictions? We're doing forecasting? Reading tea leaves?
I have no idea. We're going to just make coffee.
We're going to make coffee. We're just going to hang out. I'll tell you what. I did have this idea before right now. We'd love to do one where we answer your questions. Where you listen, send in your questions, your topic suggestions. I'm going to, this is probably ill-advised. Well, I'll put a Dropbox link in the show notes. Drop us a voice memo so we can play it during the show. Just record the voice memo on your iPhone and then share it to the folder, the Dropbox folder that I put in the show notes for this episode. We'd love to hear from you. Ask questions, share thoughts, what you want to see in 2026, what your favorite thing from 2025 was. We want to hear it all. We want to play your audio or write in. Email us at podcast@primarytech.fm. Write in, send us a voicemail, whatever you'd like to do. And we'd love to do a show all about you and what you like from this here. And also, leave us a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. Let us know how many times, how many times do you use the Apple Invites app, even if it's none. Let us know how many times you use the Apple Invites app and your default browser. You can share both those things, whatever you'd like. 5-star rating, review in Apple Podcasts. You can listen to the bonus episode, get an ad-free version at join.primarytech.fm or directly in Apple Podcasts. And, thank you so much for supporting the show, for being with us all year round. We'll catch you next week. And then we'll be at CES, which is wild. But let's go talk about coffee. We'll catch you next time.